Next, what I'm moving on to is to talk about our last topic, and rather than input and output goals, which clarify what needs to be done, this is more so going to be discussing how you're going to do it, how you're going to accomplish, in which way you're going to be doing. So you've probably seen this little chart before. If you haven't, it basically cross-references two tensions, the idea of leader versus doer and idea versus execution, and labels where your natural leanings are. Let me first be very clear. All the boxes on this chart are competent people. Certain roles actually need certain types of people to fill it most effectively. Next, I want to say where you fall in this chart is just natural inclinations. It's not saying if you are a leader, you are incapable of doing things, or if you're a doer, you're incapable of getting someone to accomplish a task. So, for example, Clash in the bottom right quadrant is a natural introspective workhorse. He likes to do things very thoroughly, likes to do them himself. He's naturally inclined to do so. However, he's still a very capable leader that serves competently in this capacity. Megan Rife in the bottom left thrives in tasks that she can knock out for you. If you give her exactly what to do, she just loves them. I've gotten to work with her a good bit in the last few weeks since she started her new job, and I can tell when I say, here, do these things, she loves them and does them really, really well. Now, the tasks that I invite her to come up with a plan on how to solve problems herself, she just enjoys them less. It doesn't mean that she's not capable of it. It's just not her natural inclination. For me, in the top left, I naturally gravitate towards including people to get what we need to get done and get accomplished. Y'all know my mantra, many people, don't worry about it. Oh gosh. Many hands make light work. Many hands make light work. It's immediately where my head goes. Does that mean that I can't do things myself? Of course not. It's just my natural leaning. Likewise, in terms of having ideas, sometimes I've got clarity and know what we need to do, but mostly Adam sees things that I don't see. And he brings them to my attention, and I benefit from them, and I get to run with them. So the boxes don't say you're not capable of something. It's saying there's a tendency. And yeah, so Adam, top right, he just does a great job of knowing what to do and how to get others included to accomplish them. So all of these boxes are competent employees. Now, there are some employees who don't fall in one of these quadrants. So there is an option that when you're told to do something, you just don't do it, or maybe you do it in an unsatisfactory sort of way. So take a look at that. Or maybe you did it satisfactory, but you required too much help around you to be able to get it accomplished. So people need to step in and bail you out because maybe you didn't lead well in something or execute on a task that you were responsible for, and they bailed you out. And that action actually takes people away from their own tasks of equipping others just so that you can get your job done in a satisfactory sort of way. So that's like a negative in terms of leading people. It's taking staff away where they were no longer able to lead others as much. So now, no matter what square you fall into, an initiative that we've been trying to move in is because we're weak as a church in this, we want to move up and to the right. And it's not because that square is better. It's just where we're weak. So wherever you are, just start leaning up and to the right. And this is to address two initiatives that we're going for. So this prompting and pushing is kind of two initiatives that we need to grow in as a church and as our staff that I kind of want to separate out for you that you can kind of see what we need to be doing. So the first initiative is just as a whole, we need to equip people more often. Like I referenced earlier, like Tim said yesterday, Ephesians 4, our job is to equip the saints for the work of ministry. It's to raise the competency of our entire church family. So if you're in the bottom section of doing instead of leading, we just need to grow in it. This has been an issue of ours, and which is why we're trying to move in a initiative of we're volunteer-driven, staff-supported. Our jobs as staff members is to recruit, train, and equip as much as possible. Let's be leaning towards equipping and including members more and more. The second initiative is we need to be experts in our area. We've just grown to the point where we're at a size where constant collaboration really just slows us down. We can't do it when at some point this was our natural tendency to do that. Like since the history of our church, that is what we've always been inclined to do. An initiative, though, we need to grow in is you are now trusted to be the expert. Moving from just tell me what to do and relying on other people to have the ideas of what we need to do, now you are the expert. And so going back to the chart, where you fit, where you lie on this chart actually is based on the role. So for certain roles, you might find yourself in one square, whereas other roles you might find yourself in another square. And that just is explaining a fit issue for what the job demands for. And so to give an example of how someone can be different in different roles, I was talking with Pritchard. He did a great job doing MPD support raising. He's 100% was one of the first people to do that. And I asked him, I was like, so what's the secret? How'd you do it? Just, that's amazing. You're the poster child of it. And he said, listen, I didn't even think about it. I didn't know what to do. I just did what Kelsey told me to do. Just step one, did this, and it worked. It worked. And in another area of he has a knack with helping with just groundskeeping, understanding what our campus needs to do pragmatically. He's got great ideas. He's got great discernment. He knows exactly what to do with it. And so depending on the role, you actually would fall in a different quadrant. The reason why someone would find themselves in a bad fit role, in the unsatisfactory box, is ultimately not because you're a bad person or don't have a great heart or work ethic. It's just a bad fit for the role. Just the wrong person in the wrong spot. And because we're in the employee-boss relationship circle, the fact that we are compensated and how much we're compensated is contingent on the fact of both accomplishing our tasks, input and output goals, and how we accomplish them. Are we requiring too many people to help us out to get our job done or not? If you're the type of person who's able to accomplish all your tasks without anyone being able to help you, without anyone needing to help you, you're actually indispensable for our church, just the reality of it. So don't just think of it, are my objectives just getting done, the inputs? It's how are they getting accomplished? So it's not just did you hit them, but also are other people helping you, or does it take too much effort from staff members or your supervisor to help you to get it accomplished? That would indicate a situation where you might be off the chart. Not off the chart in a good way. You got it. Some roles are exclusively a top right quadrant role. And that's just the reality of it. And especially as we grow, that's just the pragmatically what the case will be. A Grace Church kind of gave us an example of their kids ministry person. They have a ton of different, they've got so many kids. We're not in the same context as them, but he gave the example of, because they're a larger church and because they have a lot of kids, the ability to get volunteers to accomplish things is a must. It's not a suggestion, it's not a recommendation, it's a must. In order to just supply the classrooms with weekly supplies, they've got different bins. In order to obtain those supplies and stock every single room, one person doing that, it would take them an entire week to accomplish that task. The staff member would not be able to do anything else. So that job requires the person who's able to recruit moms or volunteers to be able to come up there one night a week as a team, and they just stock all the bins together, let kids run around, because otherwise the kids person would just be stocking bins for an entire work week. Collectively, I want us all to be leaning towards up and to the right. So I want our session to end with just some time and space to think about how to do that, how to include other people, how to lead them well, how to become an expert in our area. So on a page after, either before or after the input goals, I don't remember what order it went into, I want you to answer a few questions. Oh, that's what it is. It says plan of action. I want you to review your input goals, what they are, and think, can I recruit and train and equip people to accomplish these? Go to your specific input goals and say, how do I do this? What are names that I can put down that I can reach out to and come up with a plan on how to raise up leaders to be able to effectively accomplish these tasks? We want us all to be leaning towards this direction as a church, just equipping people and raising the level of competency for everyone. So what are new systems that you can implement to be able to accomplish the tasks that you're responsible for? And then that last question, it's what do I need to do to become an expert in my area? What do I need to learn that I'm weak in? Who do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to ask for brutal honesty so that I can move towards being an expert with ideas for my job? Make sense? All right, let's do another. We got time? Okay, 10 minutes. So 11:50 now. At 12, I'll grab the microphone and pray, but I want us to just take 10 minutes, come up with a plan of action on how to raise up people and be leaders in our jobs and how to become experts in our jobs. So 10 minutes, come up with a plan of action.